So, the new year rolled around. We set goals. I talked about how I wasn't going to buy books. How I was going to do Project 10 books and read 10 books before I bought one. Well, I read 10 books in January. And then I bought 25. I think I might be over this whole, trying to restrain myself from buying books thing. Because I do read quite a bit. My TBR is not out of control. I still have less than 50 books on my physical TBR. I have the money to do it. It's not like I'm rolling in money, but I do work at a job where I'm fed, so I hardly ever have to buy food. So I can funnel that money into books if I want, right? Yes. So let's get started. I'm going to try and make this as fast as possible. Okay. First, I bought 3 books that I've already read but didn't own physical copies of and really wanted physical copies of, and they are The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland in a Ship of Her Own Making, and The Girl Who Fell Beneath Fairyland and Led the Rebels There. I have the 3rd book, The Girl Who Soared Over Fairyland, in the hardcover, and I really wanted the first 2 in the hardcovers as well, and since I'm pretty sure I'll be continuing on in this series as they're released, I'm really anticipating the 4th book's coming out in March, I think. I'll continue to buy the hardcovers, and then they'll all match, and I will be happy. So I bought those. The other book that I've already read that I didn't own a physical copy of and really wanted one is Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell. I read this in January of 2014. I absolutely adored it. Yes, I know it's problematic. I also bought some comics / graphic memoir stuff. This month I have Relish, My Life in the Kitchen by Lucy Knisley? Not sure. This is just kind of about her relationship with food and cooking. She's the daughter of a chef, and it's pretty cool in the inside here, as you can see. I'm pretty intrigued by this. It doesn't look like it's going to be too tough of a read, so I'll probably read this quite soon. I also got some second volumes of series that I've already started. So I have the 2nd volume of Fables. This is Animal Farm. I have the 2nd volume of The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. And the 2nd volume of The Sandman by Neil Gaiman. And then I bought some more comics. I got volume 1 of Pretty Deadly. I also got volume 1 of Rat Queens. Got volume 4 of Saga, which I've already read. Loved it because, it's Saga. I got volume 1 of Alex and Ada, which I absolutely adored. I've already read this too. I cannot wait for the next volume to be published. I have volume 1 of Miss Marvel, which I've also already read and really enjoyed. And volume 1 of Amulet, which is a kind of middle grades fantasy series, which I've also read and really liked. I did order some books on Book Depository for Fantasy February with the BookTube Reading Buddies, which I'm really excited about, and I will talk about more in my February TBR video. One of them hasn't come yet, and that is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. But I'm hoping that's going to be here today. And then I also got Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. This is the first in a trilogy, which is part of a larger kind of world. There's 3 or 4 trilogies, I think, that all take place in the same world, but in different areas. I started this last night, and I only got 10 pages in, but I'm liking it so far. And I also got Mistborn, The Final Empire. This is book 1 in the Mistborn trilogy. I've never read anything by Brandon Sanderson. I'm really excited. Coincidentally, I got this before I heard about Year of Cosmere. I'm really excited about this. I had to order it from Book Depository because the US editions I really don't like, so I really wanted the UK edition. And it's huge, but I hear that it's quite engrossing, a pretty quick read once you get into it. So, looking forward to this. And then, my little bookstore that I talk about all the time that's a 2-minute walk from my house had their big quarterly sale where everything in the store is 20% off. Which is usually when I do most of my book shopping, is when they have that sale. I got a lot of short story collections, so let's do that first. I got 7 short story collections. First one I have is Self-Help by Lori Moore. Never read anything by Lori Moore. I'm really excited. I hear that she's her stories are kind of funny, but also bitingly real. So I'm excited to get into this. It's a tiny little volume. I thought it was a good place to start with her. I also got Can't and Won't by Lydia Davis. This is her newest collection of stories. I've also never read anything by Lydia Davis, but I've heard wonderful things about it. I love this cover. And it's just black underneath, but the end papers are really cool. Then I had to pick up a collection by Amy Bender. A few people around BookTube have been talking about her lately. She wrote The Particular Sadness of Lemon Cake, which is pretty popular, but this is a short story collection of hers called The Color Master. And from what I understand, her stories kind of have a magical realism element to them, which after reading Kelly Link in January, I'm super excited about. So I have that. And then I have another one that I've heard about for a while. This is Bobcat and Other Stories by Rebecca Lee. I'm sure you've seen this, but it's really a cool cover. And it's got that, what is that? What is it called? Like the Penguin English Library editions that are kind of like velvety almost. Well, it's got that finish on it. I don't know that much about this. I don't know that much about Rebecca Lee. But I'm really excited. I also got another new collection that was just released in 2014. This is American Innovations by Rivka Galchen, which I hope I'm pronouncing correctly. I've never heard of her. Apparently she's pretty well known for her collection. I think it's a short story collection anyway. Atmospheric Disturbances. And I can't remember where I heard about this. It wasn't on BookTube. It was somewhere else. But I can't remember. And I've wanted it ever since. I was going to try and wait for the paperback to come out, but with 20% off, this really wasn't that bad for the hardback. It's a tiny little adorable hardback. I really like the cover. It's very cool. I mean, it has a cat on it, so let's get real. And then it's just brown underneath. I can't remember that much about this collection, except I read about it and I really, really wanted it. I also got This Is How You Lose Her by Junot Diaz. I've already read Drown and The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde. I really enjoyed them both. And I believe that this is set up kind of like Drown is, where it's kind of short stories, but they're all connected. And they're still about Junior, who is the main character of The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde. I've heard mixed things about this book. I've heard that it could be a little problematic, but I figured I should definitely check it out for myself. And then the last short story collection that I got is one you've also probably seen before. This is Vampires in the Lemon Grove by Karen Russell. And I don't know that much about these either. I feel like with short stories, you can't read a blurb about short stories. You just kind of have to dive in and get a feel for the author's style and subject matter. So I am so excited to have so many books of short stories to read, because the more and more short stories I read, the more I come to love the form and really kind of internalize it, and just, it makes me warm and fuzzy. So I'll be reading this someday. I only picked up one nonfiction book this trip, and if you watch Holly from Library at the Edge of the World, she's been talking about this a little bit. This is Men Explain Things to Me by Rebecca Solnit. It's a feminist essay collection that I'm very excited to get into after reading Bad Feminist in January, which I thoroughly enjoyed. It's a tiny little thing. I'm sad I couldn't get the beautiful hardcover with like the constellations or connect the dots on them, but I kind of like the simplicity of this little book. I like the color of it. So I'm excited to get into that. Are you tired of hearing me say that I'm excited yet? I'm really excited. And then I got a few novels. I picked up a used copy of The Little Stranger by Sarah Waters, which is in like almost perfect condition. I've never read anything by Sarah Waters. I really need to. Everyone that reads her loves her. From what I understand, this is the story of a doctor who's called into a home that may or may not be haunted. Sort of like gothic mystery. I don't know. Sounds very atmospheric and delightful. So there's that. I've also kind of been wanting to read more sci-fi and fantasy. I used to read a lot of science fiction fantasy, especially when I was younger, and then it kind of dropped off. But lately, I've been interested in getting back into it. So I picked up Octavia Butler's Parable of the Sower. Octavia Butler is apparently phenomenal. And I'm excited about this. It's supposed to be like, you know, a dystopian novel before dystopian novels were the thing. So we'll see how I get on with that one. I also got Edwidge Danticaut's Claire of the Sea Light. I've read Dante Cott's Farming of Bones. She is a Haitian American author, and Farming of Bones is amazing, and I should really talk about it more on this channel. But I've wanted to read something else from her ever since then, and this is her newest novel, and it takes place in Haiti. And from what I understand, a girl goes missing, and the community has to come together to find her. So I'm really excited about this. I think this cover is absolutely outstandingly gorgeous. So yeah, I have that. And my day would be complete without a Michael Chabon. This is the Yiddish Policemen's Union. So I've talked about Michael Chabon 12 times. I'm going to read this, and then I'm going to do a whole video about him. Because I feel like I can't really do a video about him without having read at least this one, because it's pretty popular. I have no idea what this is about. No idea, but it is a really stunning book, and will look very nice with my other Michael Chabon books, I think. We'll see. I'm kind of hesitant about this, because I'm not sure that it's going to live up to my expectations of Cavalier and Clay, but it's worth giving it a try. And again, I got this used, and it's in, perfect condition. It's beautiful. So, that's awesome. So, those are all the books I bought in January. It got a little out of control, as you can tell. I probably will not be buying much in February. Luckily, February is a shorter month, so I don't have that many days to hold out. But I have quite a bit to keep me occupied for now. And I will be back soon and tell you which of these books I'll be reading in February, because I will be reading a couple of them very soon. If you've read any of these and want to tell me anything awesome about them, please let me know. If you haven't but want to, let me know. If you just want to say hi, let me know. And